this morning. And while I'm at it, let me introduce the persons who are to my right, the members of the head table. There is Mr. Fritz Harris, a member of the Jamaica Cricket Association board, first vice president, and we will be hearing from Mr. Harris in a little while. So, Mr. Harris, if you could just wave so and greet the young cricketers and everybody in the room. Thank you so much. And beside Mr. Harris is Mrs. Simone Murdoch. She is the mother of Kingston Kingston Wharves cricket right now, because I tell you, even though you don't hear her all the time, she cares about all of you. And when we're in discussion, her first thing is how it will affect the cricketers. And she's for real. So please make her feel welcome in the house this morning. And we'll hear in a little while if she has any goodies for you. I'm sure that if you perform well, something will be there. Beside Mrs. Murdoch is Mr. Courtney Francis. He is the CEO of the Jamaica Cricket Association. And since I didn't ask you to give the big welcome to Mr. Harris, I'm going to ask you to just, for the two gentlemen at the head table, just, make them feel welcome. We have some special people in the house that I have to mention as well. Mr. O'Neill Cruikshank is here. I hardly believe we'd all be here this way if Mr. Cruikshank was not at the Jamaica Cricket Association. So O'Neill, we all just gonna make you feel big up in the house this morning. So, beside Mr. Cruikshank is Mr. Stanford Davis, another member of the Jamaica Cricket Association board, the executive. And we have members of the JCA, members of staff they're here to play their role as well. We have Miss Diane McKenzie, and in the back we have Miss Cynthia and several other members of the board. And they're here to make this thing happen in the way that it should. We have the coaches here, and without the coaches, we can't have cricket and it can't work. So please, for the coaches and for the JCA staff, let them feel good. I see Prudence Barnes. She's doing her work. She's really not just behind the scenes. She's always making sure that everything, the T's are dotted and the I's are, the T's are crossed. And thank you so much. I know that you're hearing me and I really appreciate that. Prudence, you're not the only member of staff of Kingston Wharves that makes this happen, because there were some earlier putting up this really beautiful backdrop that we have. So since there are not many opportunities to make them feel the love, let's do that for them right now. There is no really last and least, but we have the cameraman in the house, Mr. Devon, and we have somebody's taking care of the streaming right now. So all of Jamaica and the world will know what's taking place right here. So for them too, because their message and the channel that they give us so that the world knows what's happening is important for us. So please. Just making sure that you're warmed up so when you get on the cricket field, you're ready to go. So now that we've got the introductions out of the way, may I ask Miss Diane McKenzie, member of staff of the Jamaica Cricket Association, to come and say the prayer for us.
Thank you, Trudy. Good morning, each and everyone. It is good to be here another time. So we now go in reverence, take the caps off. So we will go in reverence to God just now. Amen. Eternal God and righteous Father, we want to thank you, mighty God, for this day. Lord, I want to thank you for each and every one that is here today. Father, without you, this would not have been possible. Mighty God, I want to thank you today for our sponsors who have been partnering us. We pray, Father, that they'll continue to partner with us for years and years and years to come. Father, as we are about to start this competition today, Father, we ask, mighty God, that you will cover each and every player. Father, we ask that you will send your guardian angels out at every location that these games will be played. Father, we know that you are not a competitor, God, but we thank you, mighty God, for allowing this competition to continue to go on. Father, we ask, Lord God Almighty, that this competition will be an injured, accident, and incident-free competition. Father, if there is anything that I have failed to ask of you today, I pray that you will grant it unto us as I give you thanks in your precious name. Amen.
And thank you, Evangelist Mackenzie. She's in the house. We're good to go for this year for this competition. I would at this time ask Mr. Baron Smith is not here, but we have Mr. Davis of the Manchester Cricket Association. And I'd like to invite you to come and do the welcome. Please, it's quiet. So while he's getting his stuff together, can you just make him feel?
Thank you, MC, Miss Judy Williams. Of course, we have with us this beautiful lady from Kingston, Wharves, Mrs. Simone Murdoch, and she is Corporate Services and Client Experience Manager. We have with us Mr. Fitz Harris, and he's the first Vice President of the Jamaica Cricket Association. We have Mr. Courtney Francis, and he's the CEO of the Jamaica Cricket Association. Mr. Cruikshank, Mr. O'Neill Cruikshank, he just stepped out, but he is the manager of cricket operations and the development. We have other members from the Kingston Wharves, of course, and we have persons who are from the Jamaica Cricket Association, members of staff. We have with us our coaches, and we have the reason why we are here, our cricketers, our young men for the under 15 competition. Good morning. I am here today in the capacity representing the president of the Manchester Cricket Association, Mr. Barry Watson. I saw a new name here, I'm not sure. Mr. Watson is unable to be here, and I am substituting for him. And everybody know my little substitute story that many years ago, before any of these young men were born, or some of you were born, in Mandeville we had 2 theaters. Now we have 0. If that is not development, I wonder what is. And there was a blind man outside begging, and in those days 50 cents was paper money. $1, paper money. $5, $10. And this gentleman decided to give, he stretched out his hand with 2 money in hand, $1, $5. And the blind man stretched over and took the $5. And he said to him, "How did you know that it was the bigger money?" And he said, "To tell you the truth, I am not the real blind man. I'm just substituting for the blind man." So he asked him the question, "Where is the real blind man?" And so he's inside watching the movie. I am here today substituting for Mr. Watson. And it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you, not just to the opening ceremony, but to the best parish in Jamaica, and the best part of the best parish, and that is Mandeville. And if Dr. Principal was here, he'd say the best college in Manchester. All right? But it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you. Of course, our MC would have done an excellent job in welcoming and introducing persons, so I do not want to reinvent the wheel, but I want to say welcome one and all. But I'm going to ask our young men to stand and for you to give them a big rousing round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated. And since the welcome was so ably done by our MC, I would like to make just a few brief remarks as it relates to cricket. I want to also acknowledge the gentleman who is streaming this, the back there, who's a very supportive cricket gentleman from the Cricket Forum, Mr. Brown. Please give Mr. Brown a big round of applause. And my association of cricket is not as fortunate as yours, young men. You see, you're all decked out in your lovely outfit. And I am going to use this opportunity to salute Kingston Wharves for what you are doing and what you have been doing over these many years. Probably about more than 3 decades of support to cricket and to the youth at the grassroots level. This is something that must not be overlooked. And we want you to take this back to your company, let you know that we really appreciate it. I don't have to encourage you to continue, because if you have been doing it for more than 30 years, and we know that you have a vested interest in cricket, and I do not want, I was at Jeopardy they asked, and they asked a question, which is this king of sports and which is the sport of kings? And somebody said, football is the king of sports and horse race is the sport for kings. From I was growing up, I know that cricket is the king of sports and horse race the sport for kings. And it is through these young men that we are going to put back cricket to its rightful place in our society. I had the privilege of interviewing a young man to come to my school, and I asked him, which sport you play? He said, none. I said, which one do you like to play? And he didn't say cricket, so I wasn't very pleased. So I want us to understand that, young men, for you, cricket is an avenue through which you can become not just famous, but also become very rich. And if you look at Christopher Henry Gale and Andre Russell, all of those persons came through the Kingston Wharves cricket competition, all right? And of course, Mr. Cruikshank is a, so I say former cricketer. And I used to play for cricket. As a matter of fact, for many years I did not play. And I got fooled by my mind that I could still play. So I joined the Masters League. And what I found happening to me is that my mind is doing quite well, but the body is not very obedient where that is concerned. So I have decided, in order to continue serving in cricket, I have to find other avenues. And there are 2 things I recognize. One is that I want to be in a position where I can contribute, but I also still want to score the most runs in cricket. So I've decided to become a scorer. And that will help me, therefore, to score the most runs and to be a part of cricket and to make my contribution. So, young men, I charge you that as you play this competition, that you will play fair, you will play hard, you will play well, and you will make use of all the opportunities that are available to you. I do not personally think that there's any other sport in Jamaica that has the avenue for upward development as cricket does. And Andre Russell, in a statement recently, said that the reason why many of them don't play test cricket is lack of interest. If we produce many more children or young people for cricket, then I'm sure that we will have sufficient to represent the West Indies and to represent Jamaica. Right now, we have a West Indies team to play against South Africa, and I would like to ask you how many Jamaicans we have on that team or in that squad. We had one who played in the previous series against England, and his performance was not, well, I think it was a computer performance, because I know in computer, the digits they use is mostly 0 and 1, on, off, and that's what happened. But we don't want that to happen continuously. So we expect you, young men, to take this cricket thing very seriously. I want to again use the opportunity to welcome you all to this opening ceremony, to congratulate and to salute Kingston Wharves Limited. And I will close by saying that there was a great cricketer by the name of George Headley, and of course Sabina Park is named after him, even though I recognize that we have more football being played there than cricket, and we want to change that. But George Headley had a t-shirt, and this is what the t-shirt said: you know why ladies prefer cricketers than footballers? Because footballers play for 90 minutes. We play all day. Thank you very much. Welcome. God bless you.
Mr. Davis, we really appreciate your presentation. But you got to do more than that. It wasn't fanky. Come on, his presentation was good. That that woke us up. But you know, for a minute when he said I used to play cricket, I thought you were gonna say that you played in Kingston Wharf or the 15 cricket. You know, the competition is about you, the young cricketers, and we want to hear from you sometimes. But I usually have some questions to see how keyed in you're into the competition. So I only have two questions for you this morning. First one, I'd like somebody on this side up to you on this side to answer. The first question is, how many years, including this year, Kingston Wharves has been sponsoring the competition? No volunteers? How many? Say it loud, let them hear you, man. 33. Is he correct? Yes. Good, you're correct. Gonna have to find something to reward it. Good. And for the other side of the room, this one is so easy, I don't even know why I'm asking it, but let's see. Question, what are the colors of Kingston Wharves? Yes? You sure? Sure? All right. It's good to know that you're paying attention because we want to know who are the people who are taking care of our interests. And Kingston Wharf is certainly looking out for the interests of you guys out there. So we want to pay attention to them as well. Okay? Now, beside me, the first person who I introduced, Mr. Fritz Harris, the first vice president of the Jamaica Cricket Association. He has some good words for us, so let us make him feel welcome to hear what he has to say.
Thank you, Trudy, Leader Murdoch, and your team, Courtney, O'Neill, and their team. Everybody, good morning. Good morning. You know, Mr. Substitute. Yes, I got a little nervous twice when you were speaking. When you spoke about the theater, and when you spoke about the length of time a footballer plays and a cricketer plays. And I'm kind of happy you ended when you ended, because one thing I know about young men, and we have a number of young men here, and you would have realized that very bright minds, is that there's a thing called imagination, and it runs wild. And one thing I realized is that whilst I was coming in, I passed through the Manchester camp, I passed through the St. Catherine camp deliberately. And believe it or not, there were youngsters discussing cricket. It's not often that you find that, right? Usually the coach have to say, it's cricket time now. And there were youngsters discussing cricket. And I want to start by saying, channel some of those imaginations along the line of cricket. And I'm sure that in no time, we'll be reaping not only the results of your sharpness in thought and expression in words, but in terms of stroke play, bowling, fielding, and so on. We need it, right? So that's my little charge to you. I'd like to start by welcoming all young men. There are no girls here? No young girls? All right. Mr. Cruikshank, you probably need a rule that every team should have at least one girl. But that is to come. But I want to start by welcoming all you young boys to the Kingston Wharves program. And I want you to understand what you're getting into. It's a fascinating program. And I want you to sit when you go home with your mother, your father, and if your mother and father lives in separate places, to ask them to come together, you need to have a family conversation. And tell them about Kingston Wharves and what Kingston Wharves is. Let me tell you a little about Kingston Wharves. And I'm speaking now about the Kingston Wharves National Under 15 Cricket Competition. It is what brings talented young boys and girls together. Help them to recognize their talent. Assist them in working together with their fellow brother or sister to carry that talent forward as a combined effort. And together they achieve success. So everybody know what team means? Who can tell me what TEAM means? Anybody? Yes. All right, Mr. Skipper, right? So it is one of your first exposure to that. And most, and when I say most, in the high 90s of youngsters who pass through the Kingston Wharves program, they become better individuals after the program, more advanced individuals, right? I don't have to go into all of what they do, but I just want you to recognize what you have entered into. It's an important program. I want to say, make a special mention of the coaches, the trainers, the managers, the scorers, all the people who are behind the scenes supporting the youngsters. It's important that you allow them to recognize that what you do has value. So as a scorer, I'm going to ask you to share with the youngsters little things like their averages, length of time they spend at the crease, the amount of deliveries they face, and so on. Have those little conversations with them. Sometimes when you're traveling in a bus and you listen to some music that is really a disturbance to your peace, you can put that aside and have those conversations. So a youngster can start to appreciate different things in the game. All of those will grow and help the youngster to love the game even more, understand the game, and improve performances. Right? I want you all to recognize that in Mrs. Murdoch and her team, there is a program that sets the foundation for cricket in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, I often look at Kingston Wharves as the lungs of Jamaica's cricket. It is through Kingston Wharves that Jamaica's cricket is able to breathe. It is through Kingston Wharves that Jamaica's cricket replenish the stocks each year. But I want to say something to you guys this morning that I want you to take very seriously. You may say cricket is experiencing some adverse times. But is adversity a good thing or a bad thing? That's a question to you. Adversity is a very good thing. Because usually what adversity does, it says to you, you need to take a check. You need to review, you need to analyze, right? Now, cricket may be going through adverse times, but here it is that we have a start. We have a chance to restart, to reassess, to retool, to reestablish. And Kingston Wharves have given us that opportunity to restart. Who are we restarting with? We're restarting with you. So, in another year, we expect you to be representing Jamaica at the U15 level. The best among you. A year after that, we expect you to be representing Jamaica at the U17 and U19 level. And I want you to bear this in mind. We want to see more 15 and 16-year-olds playing for Jamaica under 19. We want to see more 17 and 18-year-olds playing for Jamaica's senior team. It is then that we know that we are treading the road seriously to greatness. So I want you to bear that in mind, because embedded in each and every one of you is a level of greatness. The only challenge with it is you have to reach down and pluck it out. We can only encourage you. So I want you all to be focused, appreciate your talent, be thankful for it, and above all, decide that with my discipline, I'm going to work extremely hard to ensure that my capacities, my capabilities are fully manifested. Can you promise me that this morning? Sound like a weak man. Yes, sir. Good. And I want you to adopt a little theme song that inspires you, a poem, a phrase, something. I don't want to carry too far though, because it's a crook shot. I remember one year when I was chairman for the U15 thing, we had a theme song by Robert Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly. And when they were having the colors function, and the boys were singing it, the boys really believed they could fly, you know. And a couple of them started to go up and, boy, we got really scared, right? But it showed that the passion was building. And needless to say, that team was a champion team. They won the competition, right? All of you can soar, and you're going to soar. So we look forward to you soaring. Enjoy the season. Make friends. You go to play against a fellow team. I know Mr. Cruikshank this morning asked Manchester to sit here. St. Catherine sit beside you. What's the person's name beside you? Price. Which way from? Which parish? Which parish? No, sir. I don't like that. Which parish you from? You. What's his name? All right. Is it before you leave this room? Or you know, right? That's it. We make friends. We interact with each other, right? When you go around and play, right? And so after a while, we become one big happy family. We must recognize that there's no more room in Jamaica for animosity. It's peacetime now. And you are the leaders. Have a great day.
We got some quality stuff coming from the head table on the room this morning, so that's really very good. As I look on the program, I see the next person to come is Mrs. Simone Murdoch, and she has quite a long title here: Corporate Services and Client Experiences Manager, Kingston Wharves Limited. Now, I usually tell you to clap and welcome them in a different way, and I'm not even going to do any preamble about what she's going to say because she has it all there. So right now, I would like for the members of the Manchester team to raise your hand that's wearing the white cooling sleeve. Manchester team, those Manchester in white? Wonderful. Let's see the St. Catherine Cricket Association team. Cricket club, sorry. We're in the blue. Okay, so you're well represented in the house. So we have the blue and we have the white. What I'm going to ask you to do now is for the people wearing the white, okay, this is what you're going to do. On my direction, if you're wearing white, you're to say Kingston. And those who are in blue to say Wharves, to respond by saying Wharves, okay? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Kingston. All right, we want to hear it in unison now. Like it's, you're saying one word, but only Manchester to say Kingston, only St. Catherine to say Wharves. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Kingston. Say it like you're welcoming her now. So make it really loud and clear and good for her. Our sponsor, come. 1, 2, 3. Kingston Wharves. All right. Is that good enough, Mrs. Murdoch?
Most definitely. Thank you, Trudy. Good morning, everyone. Master of Ceremonies, Trudy Williams. Please allow me to stand on the acknowledgements of the prior speakers. In addition, of course, mentioning the substitute, Mr. Davis, that did a very good job at being a substitute. And also, of course, the members of the media who are here, players, managers, coaches, parents, ladies and gentlemen. I also would like to acknowledge Mr. Kirk McKenzie, who is with us today. It's always good to see prior players coming out to represent, because it's always good to see Mr. McKenzie. No, I was told it was Mr. McKenzie, the gentleman in the burgundy outfit. No, okay, all right. My apologies, misinformation. But notwithstanding, we that's one thing I'd like you to remember, because many of you will go on to play for the national team and for the West Indies team, to always come and give back, because we need to inspire the players who are playing now. So it's great to bring greetings from Kingston Wharves. As you know, this is our 33rd year, and I bring strong commitment and greetings, firstly, of course, from our CEO, Mark Williams, and then from the entire team at Kingston Wharves. With me today, I have two members of our marketing team, Diana Ingram, and also, and where's Karim? Karim Swearing, and of course, the ever passionate and ever present Prudence Barnes, who is our PR and marketing executive. So importantly, we're happy to be in Manchester, not because Manchester is partly my parish, but it's a fitting location for the competition's launch, given the fact that Manchester are defending champions and that the parish has maintained great performances over the years. We want to, of course, acknowledge Mr. Watson, Mr. Barnes, Mr. Reed, Mr. Davis, and the rest of the coaching team that continue to demonstrate their commitment to the sports and the young people under their stewardship. I also want to welcome Mr. Thomas from the St. Catherine team, coming to one of the hearts of cricket with their team to do well today. We are also very impressed by the resilience of the associations and the team in Central Jamaica. We don't take it for granted that we did just come out of a major natural disaster where burial destroyed homes, communities, disrupted lives, especially on this side of the island, and cricket fields and infrastructure were damaged. And for sure, this must be taken a psychological and a physical toll on the players. So we're glad to see that the leadership of the Cricket Association has been able to pull together to ensure that we do have this competition this year. We don't take it for granted. We also would like to thank the Jamaica Cricket Association for its commitment to staging this competition every year, from structuring and planning the games to selecting the fields, preparing the youngsters. Seeing you all in your blue and white and gold is always my favorite because I'm a brand lady and you have on my colors. So it's always a happy day when I come and see everybody in their colors. And of course, for the numerous other activities that we have planned for you this year. Of course, we always try to enrich the program this year, and I know there are plans to have some interaction in terms of off-field interaction, in terms of conflict resolution. Mr. Harris kind of mentioned it a while ago, in order to build camaraderie, because there are ways that we need to introduce and encourage our team members to resolve conflict. I saw two young men having a little tiff a while ago, and I said, okay, we definitely have to make sure that we do, because remember, we're teammates. Even though you're playing on two different teams, you're playing in the same league, right? And what Kingston Wharves represents is strong, able young men who know how to deal with their conflict and their disputes. And of course, we all want to encourage, because speaking in public, something I personally don't like too much, but it's part of the job, so I have to get used to it. And as cricketers and as young men going out in the world, you have to be able to speak. So we hope to be able to give you some speaking practice and the other activities that we have for the management and team members who are involved in the competition. Each year, Kingston Wharf recommits to this under 15 competition because of the importance the tournament in enhancing cricket skills of young people. Mr. Harris said that it is the lungs, Mr. Harris? It's the lungs of the cricket fraternity, and we are glad to play that enabling role, positioning them for future success in cricket and their chosen field. We continue to be impressed with the talent emerging from the competition, many of whom are making impact as international players and in sports administration and other spheres. Mr. Francis, of course, and Mr. Cruikshank are proud alma maters, alumni of this cricket program. Of course, Mr. Harris. All right, see, we always say that we want to have a Hall of Fame. We kind of started it last year, but hopefully in our 80th anniversary, that is one of the things that we will get properly established as we celebrate 80 years as an institution and then 34 years as a cricket competition. We are pleased with the growing effort to integrate more females into the competition and the advanced plans to have an all-female cricket competition. In the West Indies, both male and female teams have had good success throughout the years, but we must rebuild and rebuild stronger. We were here for the good years, so we'll be here for the next set of good years, and we're doing the work to make that happen sooner rather than later. Our desire is to see both our male and female Jamaican youth teams excel in the region and make bigger impact on the West Indies' success, as Mr. Harris said. We are proud of Jordan Johnson and, of course, Abigail Bryce, who are trailblazers on the world stage and are now fairly integrated into the West Indies team. It is our hope that KWL, that through the continued sponsorship and support that of other corporate sponsors, that we may see many more Jordans and many more Abigails coming through this competition. To those who are participating in the 2024 competition, you too can excel and go on to do great things, whether it be cricket or non-cricket. I encourage you to do your best. As Trudy mentioned, we always have goodies. So I hope to see Manchester and I hope to see St. Catherine on the other side of this event, which is the closing ceremony, so that we can ensure that you're in on the goodies as the finalists. Make it the best of it and have fun, but stay competitive. We at Kingston Wharves are here to continue our support for you. We will continue to support the sport at this level because our goal is to facilitate youth development and to set you on a positive path. We wish you a great tournament. Thank you.
Did you like what she had to say? All right, sound good. By the clap of the hands, thought you had good things to say, Mrs. Murdoch. Now, as I watch you out there, I noticed that some of you listened very well, and some of you were talking to each other. Okay, so good teachers, lecturers, pay attention to the audience, and when you pay attention, you want to change up things a little. When I used to lecture, and the people in the classroom are doing other things than what I would like them to do, I get them to help me to do what I'm doing. So they come to the front and they lecture with me. I give them the notes. Hey, it's there. You can lecture. So right now, I'm going to invite two people. You can choose to come. And if you don't choose to come, I'll just come for you. So 2 volunteers, one from Manchester and one from St. Catherine. I'm going to give you something simple. Don't worry. Not going to lecture, nothing like that. Something very simple. So one person from Manchester and one from St. Catherine. Can you join me up here right now? All right. Let me see the hands of the Manchester cricketers. You can help me. Manchester? Good. The hands of the St. Catherine cricketers? Thank you. Come here. Listen, you're part of the team, so you have to support them. Make them feel that they can do it. So give them a clap. They can do it. Right. Let's start to the front right here. Over here. Right here. I'm going to do this quickly because the team, I want to continue. All right. What I'd like you to do is, you see, some people are restless. So you're going to give them 2 exercises each. Two exercises to make them perfect. Ready again. Starting with you, Manchester. 2 simple exercises. Tell them what to do. First of all, tell them to stand because you want movement. Stand. Tell them, they didn't hear you. Tell them. Up. Toes up in the air. Count off. Count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, good. Mr. St. Catherine, tell them one now. What to do next?
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Good, your time. Let them do something with the feet so that they move.
All right, me up.
Count to 10 again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Good. Mr. 17, you're next. Tell them what to do. Something with the feet again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. See, I told you it wouldn't be hard. Ready to hear anything else new? Because the next person who's going to come and talk to us is one of you. Demario Hall from Manchester, cricket captain of the Manchester team. He's played in the under 15 regional competition. He's been in the competition. He knows what it is like. So this morning we want to hear from a player's perspective. So since he's one of you, you got to make him feel good.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Manchester Cricket Association and all the other teams, we would like to say a big thanks to Kingston Wharves for letting this competition be possible for the 33rd year. This competition has always been a great competition because we always get top perform, do our best in the field, a lot of runs and a lot of wickets. And our coaches have been working really hard with us to do our best, perform at our best, and we're looking forward to have a great competition. We have hope we'll get a lot of fun. We enjoy this competition, and our team Manchester has been working really hard so that we can go out there, defend the title, and have fun in every match we do. Thank you.
Well done, Mario. When I don't have to give any instruction as to what to do, you know you did well. So, more talking, but we'll soon be finished, okay? And then you can go play cricket and have fun outside. Right now, I'd like to invite Mr. Courtney Francis, the CEO of the Jamaica Cricket Association. He knows what it's like to play in this competition as well. So you're going to do that for me. Mr. Francis, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. I'm not going to detain you for long. I have the easy job of charging you with what we expect of you throughout the tournament. And first and foremost, I want you to play fair and honest. It is very, very important. It is part of our code. It is part of the tournament's requirement. It is part of the JCA requirement that you play the cricket as best as you can in the spirit that is intended, and you ensure that you try to remain injury-free. Also, as Mr. Harris said earlier, you must make friends. It is very, very important that you make friends. 10 years from now, you're going to be the leaders in here. 20 years from now, and some of you inside this room, some of you will not be cricketers at that stage of your life. You may be administrators, you may be working somewhere else, and by virtue of knowing someone that you played Kingston Wharves with, then you work better, and you make friends, and you may have to go to one of your friends for a job. And so therefore, it is very, very important that you make friends. Mr. Cook, I usually mout him. I don't know, he changed up the agenda, so he's going to speak after me today, so I cannot mout him because he's going to get the last say. And that is how we normally operate, all right? So it is very, very important that you make friends, not just with Manchester team or St. Cathy, but all other teams around the island. The next thing too is that you must, in all aspects, have inspiration to be at the next level. So whilst you're playing at this level, we want you to have the inspiration and the aspiration to go and play for the national team come next year. So don't just go into the tournament and just play for it to be an activity. Have a plan. Mr. Harris mentioned earlier the scorers and the coaches need to sit down with you guys, have a discussion, encourage you so you know your numbers, you know what your targets are, and you work towards getting into the national team. Playing the national team, that will expose you to a different level. You will travel, and then you'll make friends elsewhere in the region. Also, you must always try to remain injury-free. Try to remain fit. Do your exercises as I did earlier, because it's part of the game. Try and eat as best as you can. Try don't eat too late. And always, during the course of the tournament, wear the sponsor's uniform. Okay? Always wear the sponsor's uniform that you receive, right? It looks good. It looks nice. It's good for Kingston Wharves. They've invested in this for 30 odd years. And so therefore, now that is your role because they're the ones who are making it possible for you to play. Any opportunity you get, gentlemen, try and read the playing conditions. Read it as a group. Read it with the coaches so you understand the rules. So when you go out there, you have an idea as to what the rules are. Always adhere to the umpire's decision. Whether you like it or not, always adhere to it, okay? And then now you make the formal complaint thereafter. I wish everybody all the best. I want you to go out there and represent well and ensure that you have fun during the course of this tournament. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. I have an urgent request from one of the players, but he's representing more than one of the players. They're cold. They want to go outside. It's affecting them. So we got to go quickly to get out of here. But let me mention the umpires are here. And, you know, cricket can't start without the umpires. So umpires, welcome. Happy to have you. And since we're going to hear the cricketers who are going to be in the sun in a little while, I'm going to invite Mr. O'Neill Cruikshank to come and give us an overview about the competition. Because there's still some things to be said that you should know as players in the competition. So we'll be done quickly, okay? And get you out. Mr. Cruikshank, and just to use up some energy and make him feel welcome.
Good morning, good day to all. Protocols have been established and observed. Let me see the hand of the person who said here was too cold. Let me see the hands of all the person who thinking here is too cold. All right. So I see 1, 2, 3 non-cricketers. Now, all of you guys are going to be playing in the sun for the whole summer. So I'm going to suggest that we bottle up this thing in here and carry it to dinner. So don't complain about the cold. Enjoy it, because in just another 40 minutes, we're going to be balling about heat. All right, so for everybody, just let me indicate some of the particulars of this competition. This year, you would have to be eligible to play. You would fall in 3 categories. The regulars, which mean you'd have to be born on or after September 1, 2009. We allowed each team to have in their squad 5 what we call overage players, because they don't fit that category. So they would have to be born September 1, after September 1, 2008 to August 31, 2009. And then there's the other category for the females. The females can be as much as up to age 19, and they can play in this competition. Now, I know Mr. Harris asked earlier where were the females for these teams, and we might have to fix that about ensuring. And why do I say that? I say that because you would have heard Mrs. Murdoch mention a young lady by the name of Abigail Bryce, who in 2022, she just took this thing by storm. And now in 2024, she's one of the Lynch members of the West Indies under-19 female team. And I've always said to you guys that cricket can carry you places. I don't think in 2022, she thought that in the summer of 2024, she'd be heading to England. And you could be among one of those. There are 3 members here who are part of the under-15 team. I'm going to ask them to stand. So, gentlemen, if you're looking for somebody, there are 2 of them from Manchester. There's Ward, there's All, and there's Plummer from St. Catherine. So they are representing both teams here. If you're looking for inspiration, they are right in your midst. So you shouldn't be having a challenge when you want to look for somebody who can tell you about playing at the, you can sit guys, playing at the youth team level. We have some conditions, and I want the coaches to be aware that even though we said that we have overage players, and some of the guys who are standing are in that category, but just to ensure that they do not hog the show, we have indicated that even in terms of how they participate in the team, so they can bat at number 1 or 2, but they can't bat. You can't have them batting number 1 or number 2. They can bat at number 4, and they can bat any number after number 6, but not consecutively. And we're doing that because, and they cannot bowl in tandem. And we're doing that because, I said, we are using them to help to bring the younger ones along, but they are not the ones to be hogging the show. All right? So I want coaches to be very mindful of that. Don't try and sneak in something. The good thing is that on the sheet of paper, you are to declare. When you declare in your team, the two umpires are here. When you declare in your team, you are to indicate the overage player. So the umpires can know how to regulate what is going on. The games are one innings game. Starting last year, we had moved away from 50 over or limited overs competition. And we're doing that because we want our youngsters to begin to bat, particularly. Right? We don't want any coach telling a youngster that, 2 overs leave and then he must do something, which we don't want to encourage in our young men. So, young men, you have the opportunity to bat. And back in the days when Mr. Harris and Mr. Francis played, they would have said, bat till the cows come home. Now, among us also, I want to indicate that the under-15 coach is also here. I don't know if he'll be the under-15 coach next year. Mr. Thomas is the under-15 coach. So St. Catherine as the under-15 coach. As the under-15 coach, if he's back, he's going to be one who's selecting persons. So I will say, particularly for you guys from Manchester, the new guys, let me say all of those who are playing for the first time. Fantastic. So among all of you have played in this competition before. So you know what this is about. But now you have somebody who from day one is going to be looking at your performance. Right? Last year we had 19 teams just like this one. We were told that the 20th team, which was St. Thomas, would have come back. And they were in until last week, Wednesday or Thursday or something like that, Wednesday. They were in. So they are now out because they have indicated that there's an inability for them to put a team together. There's some challenge with their administration there. So we understand what that is. But this year, the board of the JCA, in trying to ensure that our young men don't travel as far as they used to, we have now decided to have 5 zones of 4 instead of originally having 4 zones of 5. What this has done is that it has expanded the competition because now we only have 4 teams in a zone. So to ensure that there was enough cricket played to occupy you during the summer, you now have 5 games. Last year you only had 4. So each team have 1 more game to play. So you'd play 2 teams in your zone twice. So you have 1 more match to put in the performance that will push you forward for the selectors who are going to be coming around this time to look at performances. Once we have, last year also, we used to just use the top 2 teams from each zone. So you win or you come second, automatically you win to the knockout stages. This year is going to be a bit different. We have 5 zones, we have to get to 8 teams. So all the winners will go through automatically. And thereafter, we are only selecting 3 of the second place, the best 3 from the second place. These 3 best second place players, thank you, teams. So therefore, it is harder now because you're not only trying to win in your zone, you're trying to ensure that of the 5 other players and teams that are coming second, you have to be in the top 3. So performance is going to matter. The teams already have the playing conditions that indicate what are the tiebreakers. So I'm sure they'll be paying attention to that. As I said, this year we'll have 10 additional matches. So we are hoping that it provides you with more cricket and you can do so much more within that time. At the end of the competition, we'll be selecting 24 players. And those 24 players will begin the preparation for next year's tournament starting in October. So you have a choice, you have a chance. Make sure that it will count. You would have also heard Mrs. Murdoch speak about inserting some non-cricket sessions. So yes, very soon the teams will have the schedule that they will be dealing with to deal with issues of conflict management, social awareness and responsibility, the rules of the sport, and media management. Those will be done at your training sessions, and they are going to be mandatory. So the teams have to have them, and the players have to be in attendance at all of these events. Young men, I would just like to join everybody else in encouraging you to play hard. The sun is hot. Make sure you rehydrate. I'm asking the teams to make sure that the youngsters are properly hydrated. Umpires, I'm also asking that where you find the time is exceedingly hot, the water breaks can't be the regular an hour. We have to ensure it's already a warm time. So we're asking you to be mindful of the youngsters' interest when we look at that. Today is going to be a shortened game, and I'm hoping that it doesn't stifle your ability to perform, because it starts today. We end on the 30th, and now I heard Mrs. Murdoch says that at the end of the competition, the two teams that are left standing have more goodies to get. You got some already. And every year I'm in this position because by the time I leave here, you all call your friends and everybody telling that I get this and I get that. And I'm getting a lot of calls about what is there for us. But it is possible because last year, the two teams that came to the final were from the same zone. So it is indeed possible that the two teams can come from this zone. But more importantly, as I said, you play hard, make friends, keep yourself hydrated, and play in the best spirit of the game. I hope you have a wonderful day and tournament. Thank you. All right, so we have to move very, very, very shortly. Because you're here before, I know that Manchester would have provided meals for you. So by the time you go to the game, you're almost eating a meal before. But we'll allow you to have, because some of you have been here for a while. Very shortly, you'll be guided to where we'll have some refreshment. You'll have that before you leave. And I'd just like to thank the Manchester Cricket Association and Church Teachers College through our director at the JCA, Snavlin Ricketts, for hosting us here at the lecture theatre here. And if you have to come back, we'll regulate the temperature a little bit more. But we want to thank the media for coming, Mr. Brown, Corporate Sports for being here, the staff at the JCA who have turned out along with the interns that we have. I want to thank Mr. Davis, the Kingston Wharves family that have always been with us. Mr. CEO for giving the staff at the JCA the time to come out of Kingston and come in the cool, and also for Mr. Harris deputizing for our president, or maybe in his own right as the first vice president, speaking to you youngsters. So I want to thank everybody for the part they have played in being here today, and I wish you all the best, Godspeed. I don't know if it might rain, but even if it rains, enjoy yourself. Have a good day. Thank you. So as we get up, we're gonna follow Miss